Hello, everybody. How is it going?
Hi, Sarah. Doing well. How are you?
Hey, good to see you. All right, let me go ahead get this. Boom, there we go. Fantastic. Okay, Friday. So let me go ahead and just make sure in case anyone is looking out. No, I think we are good. And of course, if people kind of make their way in and decide to join a little bit later, that's fine. So, yeah, okay, cool. Awesome. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming. This is going to be actually our first meeting. I hope everyone's staying warm. I'm glad that we're doing this online because I'm not going outside today. It's not happening. No, it's like, and I'm from Wisconsin, so I'm just over it. Uh, yeah, I'm so glad to have everyone here. I'm really excited to start these meetings where we're just kind of hanging out once a month. Just an option for folks to join in and talk photo. If you have questions, you know me. If anyone here doesn't know me, I'll do a little bit of an introduction. I'm Sarah. I'm the director of the Atlanta School of Photography. We have been in operation since 2017. This is our eighth year, which is crazy. Oh my gosh. I took over the school from when it used to be Showcase. So if you're familiar with Showcase from back in the day, Atlanta Photo and Video Store also had a school attached to it. I purchased the school part. I was not about to do retail. That's just I've tried it. It's not my world. So I was like, let me do the school part. Let me do the education part, and yeah, so far so good. So yeah, like I was mentioning, so kind of the structure of these meetings is free form. We've got the hour. So if you guys want to bring stuff to the table to talk about, whether that be things that you have coming up, photo shoots, equipment, tips on lighting, love to just get any discussion rolling. Things that you found recently in the photo world where you're like, everybody has to know about this and I need to share it with everyone. I have a lot of those moments. But I also, of course, have some extra stuff in there. So today, the sort of topic I chose was is lighting and what to look for. So I was going to go through some of my photos and which I find is something that we don't get to do nearly enough. And I find to be one of the most helpful things for photographers is for photographers, especially like on a more experienced level, show someone your work and say, here's my process, here's what I was looking for, and then here's what I ended up with, especially when it comes to lighting, because lighting can be so tricky. We've got a couple, I've got a couple of lighting workshops coming up. We've got one this weekend and then next weekend. If you want to dive a little bit deeper into the lighting aspects. And we go over that in more of a like hands-on demo structure. But I also like to go through what I'm seeing out in the world in the field and saying like, okay, here's what I was trying to do, because that's something I wish that I could have done a lot more with photographers as I was growing up, is sort of pick their brains and say like, okay, what were you thinking when you did this? What were you looking for? What made you decide on X, Y, or Z of this photo? So I'll get to that in a little bit, but I want to open up the floor. If anyone wants to introduce themselves, or if you have questions or want to share something, go for it. You can go ahead, unmute yourselves, and just jump right in.
Hi, I'm Jim. I'll say hello first. Hi, everybody. Um, a little bit about me. I've been taking classes and workshops with Atlanta School of Photography probably for the last almost 2 years now. Went through photo 1, 2, 3, composition, and then just have done a variety of workshops. And so I've greatly enjoyed everything we've done. I keep learning, I keep experimenting. And so for me, And I just signed up for the lighting workshop coming up. I think it's next Saturday. So again, that's just another aspect. It's so critical just to learn, experiment, get better. So yeah, that's just about me and what's going on.
Couldn't have said it better. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
Anyone else want to jump in? Or have questions or things that you want to bring to the table? Go for it.
I'm
Hey,
Fred.
Fred.
I do a lot of pet photography, as you know, Sarah, but most people probably don't know. In fact, one thing I was proud of is I got Volunteer of the Year for Paws Atlanta this year for doing their photography. Me and the girl, you probably may know her, Jen Gregg.
Yeah, of course. Oh, that's so
Well,
awesome. Congrats, Fred. That's amazing.
for Paws, and they did a Volunteer of the Year for both of us.
Oh, that is so awesome. I love that. That is
Yes,
fantastic.
because of the importance of doing photography with animals. I'm actually taking a course. I think a workshop, the video workshop this weekend.
Perfect. Oh, with Adonis, that's going to be great.
Because I don't do much video at all, so I don't want to learn a little bit about it.
Oh, Adonis will go over everything and more. So yeah, that's going to be great. Oh, that's so awesome. Congrats, Fred. That's brilliant. Anyone else? No pressure. I just like to do this.
I
Just
guess I'll jump in.
Hey.
I'm Dexter Thompson. I have been actually doing photography now for about 6 years. And I actually started with a course that probably was like, I guess it's equivalent to your photo one,
Yeah.
and got hooked to that. And then I kind of felt like, well, where else can I go? And then found your website. And I've been hooked ever since. So I also want to commend you for like I do mostly fitness and men's portraiture. So when you did that fitness lighting course a couple of months ago, that plus I love Drew. He's like one. He just I can't say anything bad about Drew. He's like one of the best teachers there. So I want to commend you for that.
Thank you. I
So
was so
that's a little bit
excited to
about
have,
me.
yeah, I was so excited to be able to do that workshop. Drew used to work for us like almost full time. And then he went and got like a full-time big boy job with health insurance and all that. Ooh. Uh, so I was so excited that he was able to come back and do that workshop. So we're definitely going to do that one again. And I'm going to see if maybe he wants to collaborate with Adonis to do like a video style one
Oh,
for,
okay.
yeah, I think that could be really cool. And that's another thing with these. This is a great opportunity for if anyone has ideas for workshops or things that you guys want to see or see more of, let me
Well, I
know.
do have a request that I was
Do
planning
it.
on emailing you. Especially working with people, one of the most difficult things to go along with lighting, though, is posing.
Yes,
I
for sure.
I would like I could actually stand 2 classes in posing, because it is very difficult to take the picture you have in your mind and have the person that's modeling for you to basically, to imitate that. So
Oh, for sure.
any assistance I could get on that would be, grateful.
Yeah, I'm writing that down because Casey's done one for us before, so I'm gonna get her back on the roster to do another one. And in at least in the meantime, what I can say is, so when it comes to posing, which is like I think if not one of the top three most difficult things about portrait photography, and people don't assume it to be until you get there and someone goes, "Tell me what to do," and you're like,
Right.
oh, I forgot about that part. Oh, I forgot about that. That happens like to every single portrait photographer. And honestly, like if I go a little while without doing portrait photography and then someone asks, and I'm like, oh, I forgot. So yeah, it's like, in those moments, what I found to be super, super helpful is you do your research ahead of time, of course, where if you can, put a little like album together on your phone of your favorite poses for different types of shoots. Let me see, do I still have those? Let me see.
Well, see, I do mood boards.
I love that. Yes.
But I mean, it's interesting. Like I said, you have a pose that you found somewhere else or something similar to it, and then you're asking a person, and usually most of the models I have are not professional. They're, either guys that work out at a gym somewhere, and if they're not a competitive bodybuilder, it's kind of interesting to try to tell them, based on your physique, I want you to pose this way.
Yep,
And
exactly.
it's kind of odd.
Yeah, yeah. Especially when it's like, if whoever I'm potentially working with, like, doesn't necessarily fit maybe what I had in mind. So sometimes, like, I was trying to look up pictures of what I did last time I did senior photos. I got my husband, my 45-year-old husband, to pose for me. And so I was like, okay, if these look okay for Dave, and I can kind of like reimagine in my brain what it'll look like, I think that these will work out. So I'll try to grab anybody and just say like, okay, if I, at least, maybe it won't look great on like a portrait for a senior girl is not going to look great for my husband in the posing department, but at least if I can kind of work through it with him and say, if I tell you to do this, do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, I
Like,
see.
does that, yeah. So I'm like, am I making sense? Because I find that communication aspect of it, when you're talking to different people, can sometimes be the hardest part. So to like almost get someone to be like, look, of course this is not you, and it does not fit the body type, or does not fit the subject, or does not do whatever. But if I just walk you through this, do you have a concept of like what I am trying to get you to do? And of course, like, I'll try to do the poses for that. I always like sit down in the same spot and like show where to put my leg and where to put everything. And then I'll make minor adjustments as I'm behind the camera. But I found that to be extremely helpful, is just getting another person before the big shoot happens, in a really casual environment with someone who ideally is maybe like not in the photography world, and saying like, hey, if I just tell you to do this, is this clicking?
Does it
Is
make
this making
sense?
Yes, exactly. So I found that to be a really, really, really big help, and kind of take some of the pressure off, especially when you actually do get to the shoot.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're definitely bringing that workshop back for sure.
I
Yeah,
will keep my eyes open.
on the list. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Dexter. Appreciate it. Anyone
No
else?
problem.
Hi, I'll jump in. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Jennifer.
Hi, let me try to get on my camera. Let's see. Okay, can you see me?
Yeah.
It's a little rough today. I'm sorry, y'all. I've been working all day.
That's why we do them online. It's like, I'm in like cozy sweater.
Yeah, I'm in a cozy hoodie. It's cold outside and everything.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
just wanted to introduce myself really quickly. My name is Jennifer Jackson. I have taken a few classes with the Atlanta School of Photography since, was it year before last, I think? I can't remember off the top of my head, but I really enjoyed every class that I've taken. The first class I took was the event photography.
With
And
Alex, yeah.
yes, with Alex, that one was great. And then I took the real estate photography. That's kind of something I want to get into. I don't forget how I found Atlanta School of Photography. I think, did I find it on Instagram or something like that? But I was just like, oh my God, this is so perfect, because I'm a makeup artist. I've been doing makeup for 16 years, and I really wanted to tap more into photography. That's been like another creative outlet. And when my grandfather, he was a photographer like by hobby. And when he passed away in 2018, I was like, I think it's time for me to take it more seriously and kind of carry on a family legacy. And I just wanted to take like classes with like-minded other creatives, but I couldn't find that. So when I came across the Atlanta School of Photography, I just felt like I was at home, like back when I was in school again with all of my artist friends, and I really enjoy it. I kind of want to, I'm still trying to figure out my my niche when it comes to photography, but I'm just playing around at this moment. But I really do enjoy real estate photography. And I did see that you had the product photography, but I missed it due to being out of town. And I was like, oh man, I think that one I really would like to get into, because my goal right now is like not only with real estate photography, but I would like to get into more like product photography so I can do like stock photos for people in the beauty industry, because we desperately need that.
Yeah, that's pretty huge. I just wrote that one down too. I'm gonna get William back to do that one. We're gonna get back to Aperture Rent Studios. And like, yeah, Nicole's seconding it. Yep, yep. So we're gonna get that one back as well, because that's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Jennifer, that means so much to me, just that you feel like a bunch of people get to nerd out and come together and all of that.
Yes,
That's so
yes. I feel
awesome.
like
I
I
love it.
found my people. Like,
Yes.
being in makeup is one thing because it's like, that's pure beauty. You kind of like, I do bridal makeup. So it's kind of like you're in a different element. But when you're doing photography, I just feel like a true artist, the true artist that I am. I feel like that I'm able to shine that way. So I love both. It's like the best of both worlds. So I love it so much. So I'm really grateful for this. When I saw that the email came out about the group, I said, oh my God, I'm so thankful for this group, because I feel like we can all kind of like, rally together and help each other. I would love to
100%.
tap more into
That's
like that.
that's one of my things that I'm also trying to figure out, because right now there's like a billion different platforms to have people like be able to connect with each other essentially. And
Mhm.
so I want to, because that's what I've been really wanting to do with these clubs, is like make it so that even though we're only meeting once a month, y'all are staying in contact throughout.
Mhm.
We already do that with the business of photography one. We've been doing that one for a couple of years now. And so we're able to make like cross connections and people help each other out that way. But I love like being able to have where if someone needs a makeup artist, they can be like, hey, Jennifer, what's up? Or like, but even more on the photography side of someone just saying, hey, I'm going to this park this weekend. Does anyone want to join me? Or I'm going to this
Yes.
festival this weekend. Does anyone want to come take pictures with me? And just
Mhm.
having more opportunities. Because here's the thing, if I could clone myself into 10 different people and be everywhere at once, someone please tell me when that becomes a thing.
I
Please,
would
please,
love
in a
to do
second,
that too. I would
because I need it, but I can't. So I love for when my students start to make those connections and say like, hey, if you guys want to join me at this thing, and just getting more like photography opportunities, or even just posting and saying like, hey, I've got a portrait shoot coming up. Does anyone know any good locations in Alpharetta? And then
yeah.
having this database of a bunch of us together being able to make those recommendations rather than it just coming from me.
Mhm.
So I'm going to try to find a platform that's best for. Um, Facebook is kind of iffy. Like there's
Yeah.
some stuff. Yeah, I'm like it's kind of on its way out a little bit. And there's so much clutter in Facebook. I know a lot of y'all joined through Meetup, and Meetup seems to be pretty good. I just need to do a little bit more of like a deep dive on what are the applications for members in those areas. Yeah, Camille, it's like Discord is great. Yeah, it's like we have a
I actually
Discord.
hate Discord.
See, and then we get people who hate
Yeah.
Discord. So, and then it's like we've had a Discord for a while, but I think a lot of people get turned off by it because, like, of course, I'm coming from the nerdy gamer world. So I'm just like, yeah, totally, Discord. Absolutely. That's great. But then I realize not everyone is a nerdy gamer. So I need to kind of figure out a balance in between there. But I feel like since most folks found through Meetup, when I post it there, I'm going to try to do a little bit of a deeper dive and see how we can still stay in contact with each other and make sure that we're all on a similar platform and able to post to it and respond to each other and all of that. So that makes me feel more motivated to do exactly that, Jennifer. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Totally. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hey, I'm Alexa. Hi. I've done photo 1 through 3, the event workshop, and I've worked one-on-one with Sarah some. Side note, Sarah, I'm just trying to set up my new 2025 external hard drive tonight, so we'll see how that goes. And I primarily do music photography, but I've been getting more into events and kind of promo or portraiture type work to go alongside the music world. So, I'm decent without a flash, but working on enhancing and everything with flash. And I also just bought a little tiny one for my film camera too, and broke that out for the first time on New Year's. So would love some. I need to be more thoughtful with how to use flash on film.
Oh, that's going to be so cool. Okay, I can't wait to see those. Those are going to be great.
Yeah.
You're like,
I got him back earlier.
Awesome. Thanks, Alexa.
Yeah.
Anyone else? We good? Okay, no worries. I was like, if you want to jump in at any point, or Alvin, is that you? Yeah.
Yes. How you doing?
Hey.
This is my first Zoom meeting with you guys. I found you guys on Meetup. When I saw you guys were having a class on lighting, that's an area that I am horrible at. I've got about 5 flash guns and don't know how to use any of them. So I figured I'd take this class and see what you guys or what you guys advise is the best way to do lighting.
Awesome. Good to know. Okay. And I might even do a whole nother meeting where the topic is just flash, considering we had 2 people talk about flash back to back. That would probably be a biggie and can use in those different ways. Alvin, which is it Godox? Is it Newer? Is it like
I've got SB 500, SB 800, SB 600, and 2 newer flashes.
brilliant? That's
Yeah.
decked out. That is awesome.
But
Oh,
I don't know how to use them, so it's basically useless.
Oh my goodness. I can say, you know what, since yeah, I will start. I was gonna start with something else, but I will start there with the most recent shoot that I did. So that's what I'm gonna bring that up. Perfect. Thank you, Alvin. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else before I switch on over to this
I would like to
exciting?
go, but I don't
Yeah.
want to turn my camera on. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Go for it. Totally fine.
I am a virtual assistant turned photographer. I'm really good with the phone, but not a camera. The issue I was running into doing on client social media, always having to communicate with a photographer about what content they needed for whatever they were doing. So I killed the middleman and I am bridging the gap. So I am looking for, I provide strategy. So you take the picture, you do the photo shoot, but you don't know how to post the pictures. I do all of that for you. So I found it hard because doing it with the camera is easy. I take good pictures. I mean, with the phone, but with the camera, it has just been challenging. I've only taken photo 1. I'll make my way down the rest of the classes this year, but the camera has just not, I always end up picking my phone back up. So I'm trying to get more into my camera so I can really be a photographer for real.
Oh, I love that. That's such a brilliant idea, Camille. Like, especially with everything and how the markets are sort of shifting right now, especially. So, like, I do the promotional photos for Pond City Market's Instagram, and that can be one of those things. I know as soon as you said like client communication, I was just like, oh my god, I know that about all too well. So it's like getting those pictures to be able to translate. One thing I found for me is that my lens choice is everything. That is my absolute make or break when it comes to those pictures. And I'll show some of them because it's some of the ones I was going to bring up with lighting, but that lens choice for some of the photos that I use for their social media is like, I have taken ones where I brought the wrong lens and then I put them on my computer and I go back and I go, nope, nope, nope. It's like, this is not at all what I was thinking or what I wanted or what I think that they wanted. So if anything, trying out some different lenses. And let me go ahead. I'm going to put the link in there. It's Aperture Rent, and then it was for everyone too, of course. It's like ASOP 10 is our discount code on there. So you guys are part of the Cool Kids Club now. You get discounted Aperture Rent, yay! And renting out a lens and getting a chance to try it out just to say like, okay, would this maybe fit better for XYZ content can be huge and was a total game changer for me. So my bag is like ridiculously heavy now because I'm carrying around basically like 5 Chipotle burritos in, I wish, but they're lenses. I guess it's pretty cool too. But it's like this heavy backpack where I'm just like carrying around like 3 different types of lenses to be able to switch out for any which thing or another, just because it's so necessary when you don't know what you're running into on those occasions, definitely on the days where you don't know. So yeah. Cool. All righty. Okay. Love it. Let me go ahead. We were mentioning flash and talking about lighting. So here is the shoot that we did a week ago, and Nicole was there. Yay!
I see that. Oh my goodness.
Majestic. But they were out of focus. I was going to send them to you and I was going to edit some of them, but they were like almost all out of focus. I was so upset. Nicole was being Nicole, do you mind if I show these?
I'm assuming they're unflattering, but this is only educational. Sometimes
No.
I look like a person.
No, you're fine. It was really fun. So it's like you can see that I'm trying to just get the lighting to work, and you see like, yeah, they're out of focus. Boo. What I'm using here is it's made by Godox, which is my favorite lighting brand, hands down. Godox. And actually, let me go ahead. You can even get them on Aperture Rent. Lighting, strobe. This is my baby. Eventually, I rented it from them so much I just had to buy it. This is what I needed for the work that I was doing. I absolutely adore it. It is one of my favorite things on the face of the planet. So it's like I would use this with this Octabox or another kind of light modifier, but this one is probably pretty standard and close to what I have on mine. So when you're using these types of lights, you can kind of see on there what they do is they range from different amounts of power. So the highest power on those, and this is flash, this is strobe, this is almost every other kind of light that you'll use, is 1/1 is the most amount of power that can give out. So like this one specifically, 400 watts is the amount of power that obviously 8400, that's how they get it. So, and then it goes all the way down to 1/256. And each time it cuts, it's fractioning off, it's cutting half of the amount of light. So you go 1/1 is full, 1/2 is half, 1/4 is quarter, so forth and so on. So you have that setting that you're kind of dialing in to say what you want the light to be at. And then you hook it up to, oh, that's not in here. You hook it up to something called a trigger. And this is the one that would like go with that Godox for Canon. And here's the other thing. A, this is being recorded and I'm going to send it out to everyone. B, if you rent through Aperture Rent and you're just like, if you call them and been like, hey guys, I was just at the ASOP meeting thing and Sarah talked about a bunch of lights. I don't know what I need. They will tell you. They're some of the nicest, kindest, most wonderful people on the face of the planet. So don't feel intimidated by this kind of stuff, because if you have the right people that you're talking to, they'll make sure to lead you in the right direction. So if you get this and then you show up and you're like, oh shoot, I have a Sony, they'll just be like, no problem. Here you go, switch it out. Or if you're doing something more for like a different specific kind of shoot, they'll be able to guide you and say, this would probably work better for you. So yeah, anyways, so those 3 components, you have the light, you have the softbox, and you have the trigger. This is the part that goes on the camera. This is the part that actually like physically goes on the camera itself. So that this can talk to your strobe light. It's a radio signal that it's sending. So you can see right here, this one is set to 1/64. So that's 1/64th power. With it being that low, I would say that's probably for something like studio or tabletop photography, because that's a pretty low setting. compared to what we had at this shoot, which I needed this to be and take up a ton of room. This was probably closer to like 1/4 or 1/8 power. I wanted to get it so a couple of different things were happening. I, of course, wanted to illuminate her, Shantae, this amazing woman who hired me to do a flying dress shoot, because she's queen of like a New Orleans Mardi Gras organization. So we did this whole shoot, we did a video and everything. Nicole was there and was a huge, huge, huge help. She's back there somewhere billowing the dress to get it to fly. It was really great. So there were a couple things I was trying to do with this light. So you can see it's off to the right from where, if I'm standing in the camera, it's off to the right-hand side. And I wanted it to be up high. So at an angle, the majority of the time when I do these, I have it at about 8 feet high and at a 45-degree angle down. I found for portraits, that tends to be the most flattering for the most part. And then depending on how close the light is to your subject is going to depend how intense those shadows are when using a single light source. If I put in a second light source here, there wouldn't be as much shadows, but we wanted this to be really dramatic. We wanted it to kind of add to the drama of it. I mean, we rented at a castle for the day. Come on. It's, yeah, we got to match it. So, so I had it up high to the side, and I had it probably about, I would say, 6 to 8 feet away from her. So that's going to push the light with that singular light source in just a way where I'm getting not super harsh shadows, but enough to make it kind of feel like it's that low sunset kind of light, where it is from one side and dramatic enough that she's popping. So I wanted to separate her from that background. So I had that single light pointed at her at a high enough speed where the exposure is on her and the background is being lit up a little bit more. And you know what? I think this one is actually edited. So let me show you the not edited ones. That's very important. Okay. So yeah, this one is not like fully edited. The other one was through Photoshop and all that craziness. But this one had it just like, you can see even with this wider shot too, where it's maybe hitting a little bit of the pillar on the right-hand side a little bit too much, and I would bring that down in editing, but I'm not concerned about that. That's the other thing I really like to remind my students is like, don't feel like everything in the photo has to be absolutely perfect when it comes to lighting, because unless you have every hour of the day and like IKEA level production values of a studio and you're just photographing a non-moving couch, don't expect perfection. It's like there's so many Nicole can attest to this, like there were so many things happening. Nicole's there like trying to like fix her crown and her hair, and then we've got Carolyn in the back and she's like trying to like make sure everything is good with the dress in the background, and then I'm trying to set up the lights with the studio. There's so many little things happening that for my brain to then go, oh, but that column is overexposed, that would be so silly. That would be so when you say it out loud, it sounds so silly. So little things like that, don't worry about it. That is not the issue. It's like, does she look good? Does the dress look good? Do we have the movement that we want? Do we have exactly like the right setup? Do we have all of the pieces that are the most important put together? And with that strobe lighting, I was like, yeah, maybe it's hitting the column a little bit, but it looks great on her. And that's all I need to make sure that I need to know about that. And then you can see here, once we moved, I angled it a little bit. There goes Carolyn. It's like I angled it a little bit. So now it's pushed a little bit further back. But the other thing about specifically like this strobe light, you can see that I really like is that it's staying consistent. Like it's not dipping in the amount of power that it's giving off. So when you see certain types of like flash or strobe lights, generally like the newer brand that you see on Amazon a lot. Here's the thing: if you want to buy those just to try them out, and you're like, I've got $100 budget, go for it. But know that it might not have like what's called like a consistent level of light that's coming out of it each time. So at least with this, I can guarantee and say like, okay, I know exactly what my exposure is going to be every time. With some of the cheaper, with the cheaper flash and strobe options, you might get a few wavering exposures here and there. You can see, so the light was coming from the side, but then I was like, you know what, this is maybe looking a little bit too dramatic. So then I moved it. So we did a couple of shoots where it was like immediately on her side, just to like directly on her left shoulder. And I was like, oh gosh, we're losing so much detail on her and especially on her face. So when you're looking at these pictures and going through them, you can kind of say, okay, there we go. Much better. So we have some more. So, okay, here's the other big difference that I wanted to point out. Here's it. I think this is edited a little bit more compared to the other one. So yes, okay. Here's none of my edits in here. Here's actually more of my edits in here. And when you, let me check something really quickly. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Okay. So yeah, so with my edits, you have obviously a big difference where this is going to be a little bit okay, so this is what I'm seeing in camera, right? I can then sort of go through the process in my mind of saying, that's what it's going to look like. That's what I'm going for. That's like the next piece of the puzzle. So sometimes if you're looking in your camera, especially when you're shooting RAW, because remember that JPEG compared to RAW, JPEG has like literally millions of more colors and color and tonal values available in it, rather than our RAW or our JPEG images, that you might see it and say, okay, this looks really flat. This doesn't look great. This is pretty awful. Maybe it's not going to be that great. Remember that all of this is still there. All of that information is buried in your photograph. It's going to just take a little bit to work with it. But for the most part, I found that the newer Lightroom versions, auto isn't doing too bad, you guys. It's pretty amazing what the softwares are able to do, which is nuts. Like that is absolutely crazy to me, because it was only maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, and anyone that's used Lightroom or Photoshop will know this, that a while back, we would immediately just say, do not hit auto. Do not hit auto, because it will do something so horrendous to your photo and not understanding at all what it is or what you're taking a picture of. But I feel like they've gotten a lot smarter in understanding. I think before, what they used to do is just put this blatant preset on and just say like, boop, that's it, we're done. But now I think they're starting to adapt better with the photograph that you've taken and say, okay, what are some of the settings that we can use to actually make this a little bit better? So like here, I would be like, okay, I could probably make it a little bit better in that direction. And it just took two tiny sliders. So of course, still important to know what's happening here, but for the most part, don't be scared when you see this. That's the main thing I want to get across, is do not be scared if you see this in your camera, because it can always be that with a single click of a button and 2 tiny slider movements. You're fine. It's like everyone, they start doing RAW, they get so scared immediately. I realized I was just going on and on for a while. Any questions, comments? Pretty good. So then let me go ahead. Oh, we'll do these. Yeah. Oh, funny enough, Alexa was here for this one. It's like, I'm just going around. I'm gonna bring up pictures from all of my students who are joined in, who were here for these photos. It was great. Yeah. As you can tell, I like to bring you guys along on the fun. So there was, shift gears a little bit and talk about natural lighting. When I'm photographing in natural light, which is probably, I want to say like anywhere between 75 to 85% of the time, especially when I'm doing like these photos at Ponce City Market, because we just don't have time to set up a whole studio lighting setup and everything. We've got maybe 10 to 15 minutes with each store or restaurant to photograph like one or two things that they need us to take pictures of. We have to just like, I have to constantly stay alert of the lighting situation around me and go, okay, hey, what do we got? What are we working with? So I'll do a quick little preview of the room. I'll do sort of this small, like kind of survey and go, okay, is there any really, really cool light? That's the number one thing that my brain goes to. Is there any really cool light? We were lucky there that day at this particular restaurant because yes, there was. There was this sliver of light that was coming through the patio balcony. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, we got to use that somehow. And here's the thing, if you find a spot with like really, really, really cool light, chances are whatever you put there is going to be amazing. We got even luckier when they brought this drink out, where it's just this like amber color and was really able to shine through. And I was like, oh, yes, perfect, done, love it. End game, we got it. Versus inside the restaurant would have been something like more drab and not fantastic. It's like when you walk into a restaurant, obviously they're doing a lot of really great things with the lighting to our eyes, but I'm sure everyone here has experienced that to like some extent or another. Kind of like Camille was talking about, where it's like you get your camera and all of a sudden you're like, why is this not looking as good as I thought it would? What is happening here? And it's because sometimes it just can't. Like I think that's one of the biggest things I also want people to take away when it comes to lighting is sometimes you just cannot make bad light work. Sometimes it just has to, it just won't. I can't count how many times I have sat down with my students and we're editing a picture and we're like hacking it to death because there's nothing that can save it. Maybe switching it to black and white. That's kind of the little secret that not enough photographers will share, is that just switch it to black and white. It's fine. Like, just do that. Yeah. It's like we were all guilty of it at some point. But I mean, if at the end of the day, it is really all about lighting. Because if you take one bad one in bad lighting, it's not going to work by any heavy amount of editing that you do. It just is what it is. But starting with really great lighting like this is saying like, okay, this is actually working fantastically. This is much, much, much better. So this is without any editing whatsoever. This is a raw image. So if you can kind of have this and then just go auto, hey, not too bad. Now, I wanted to make this more dramatic, so I'm bringing the exposure down more. That's why I started with such a low exposure to begin with. So when we're talking about lighting, we're not just talking about lighting in the sense of like lighting on the outside, but lighting on the inside too, right? So if we have lighting on the outside and the inside, we have it where we can talk about, okay, a little bit of a lower exposure to make this more dramatic. I did that on purpose. Otherwise, I would have exposed it like this. But that's, it's a little bit too much happening around here and it's kind of falling in, where once we start to bring it down, I'm like, oh, that's much better. That's much, much, much better. And although I'm doing it here in Lightroom, this would be in your camera too. This is you just changing that exposure setting in your camera to say brighter or darker. And sometimes that can make all the difference too. And of course, if you guys have questions or comments or anything as we're going through, please, please, please just jump in. You are allowed to interrupt me. Go for it. Unless you're that guy. That's not allowed. Make it very clear.
Sarah, when you were talking about changing the exposure setting, were you talking about like purposely making it look dark, or the actual like what an EV, whatever, dial it up, down?
Yeah, exactly. So it's almost using that, like if you're using shutter or aperture priority, you're using that EV, that exposure variable, to that exposure compensation to make it darker. Like you're telling the camera, or if you're in manual mode, instead of setting your meter directly in the middle, you're going to set it under. So yeah, you're going to set it like another like stop, 2, or I think some of these, it was even like 3 stops under, because I really wanted that super dramatic lighting, where in camera, my meter was telling me, photograph it this way. And I'm like, no, thank you. I want the more dramatic light on purpose. I know we spend a lot of time here.
Hey, Sarah, starting with that natural light that you had, that just perfect light, that made it so quick and easy for you to just make that quick adjustment. Just the raw image by itself was pretty, but that had to be the easiest edit ever.
It really, honest to God, was. It's literally just like, okay, auto, bring the exposure down, and I'm gonna pop the vibrance a little bit more. Like that was it. That was the whole thing. And
Yeah,
that's one of
very
those things
pretty.
where it's like, oh, it worked out so well, to the point where it's like I bust out the macro lens because I couldn't help myself. I got obsessed. And then they were like, we're not going to use these pictures. And I was like, oh no, these are for me.
Oh,
You don't understand. Let's see. Yeah, so then it's like we tried some with the more patio area and getting closer, and they always love hands. We have to do hands and more hands, 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 hands. And then, like, so there you go, you cheersing. Hooray. I love it.
Sarah,
And
how do
then,
you choose when you
yeah.
use flash and when you just use the natural light?
Oh, when, sorry, Fred, was it when to use flash, when to use natural light?
How do you choose? Is it
Oh, that's a really good question. So I guess it's depending on if I already have pretty decent available light, I'm always going to use available light. That's just for me personally. However, if I don't have decent available light, I'm gonna pop a flash on, just to make it look as if there is some kind of light to use. There's some of these places in Ponce City Market that the lighting is really great, and other parts where it's not. So I'm trying to think of like, yeah, so like here, I ended up coming back and redoing these with a flash because I was not happy at all with how these turned out. This was, and this is one of those things that I really, really like to do. I'm not going to show you all I'm never going to show you all only my best photos. I'm going to show you the really crappy ones too. That's super important for you to see, because no way in a million years does any photographer, the pictures that you see at the end of the day, that's not what all of our pictures look like. You're seeing a fifth. You are seeing a fraction of the photos that we are actually taking. So when it comes down to the ones that we're actually showing you, they're edited and it's a tiny, tiny fraction. Here's one that I took where I was like, okay, this is nearby, this shop, and I like the table. The table was cute, but I brought these back into my computer later and I was like, I got to go back and redo this. Like, this is supposed to be for Valentine's Day and it looks like, bleh. It's just bleh. And then I could try auto. It's a little too warm. What if I tried to cool it down a little bit? See, it's like no matter what I could try to do, it's not working. It's just not
Plus, you will
working.
never get rid of that highlight either, I think.
That too. So it's like, and I think I realized that. So I was like, what if I flip it? And I was like, nope. I was like, it's still not there. It's still just this kind of like, it's just a, what you call it? A regular old light up top that wasn't doing anything special. It was just a bulb. It was just a bulb light. So especially when we're thinking of terms of like lighting and context, the light and the context for this, it did not match at all. This is supposed to be like super bright and airy and French and lovey-dovey for Thanksgiving, for Valentine's Day, and it was supposed to be this whole like, oh, you're getting a package kind of thing. And I was like, okay, yeah, I like the table, but later on I was like, The lighting was a light bulb, and the table is just wood. So there's not really a whole lot there to go off of. Versus, I think the next week when we came back, trying to kind of make the best of it and take pictures of the ice cream on the outside. I was like, that looked really cool. That was a fun one. That looked really great. And I got to eat it after, which was even better. So I get to eat a lot at this job. This is one I constantly, whenever we do, oh, here's an example. Yes, boom, boom, boom. Okay. So honeysuckle, this is like where all the gelato comes from, and I eat it, and it's a great and amazing, and I love it. But the lighting at their booth is the worst, you guys. It really is. Photographic wise, it is the absolute worst. It has zero, and I mean zero window light reaching it. It is only those like kind of overhead lights that they have there instead. So as soon as I took this picture, you can see this is the first one I took. I went, nope, get the flash. And of course, the flash was set way too high. It was probably set for not a close-up thing. It was probably set for like if I'm trying to photograph a large room and bounce the light around off of a wall, which is my favorite thing to do if I can. So then I brought it back down. And I said, okay, all right, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're looking better. Obviously, white balance was way off. This is extremely too blue. And this was even a little bit more yellow, but I was like, I'd rather have it more yellow than blue because we probably wanted to look like a nice, like kind of cheersy one. This was, I don't know what I was doing here, guys. This was going off the rails by this point. I was losing it. I was getting hungry. I just wanted to eat something. I think maybe I was just like totally starved. Okay, there we go. Here we go, Sarah.
Were you using your Godox softbox?
No, this was just a flash on top of not on top of my camera, but I have it connected with a trigger so I can hold it up to the side and kind of position it around. Yeah, so very similar setup, but instead of that Godox with the softbox, it was my flash with a diffuser on top of it, just a little cup diffuser right on top of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so then I can kind of move it around so it's not just this blatant amount of light bursting out of my camera. It is it would be like just off to the side instead. Because when you put it right on your camera, you're limiting yourself to how that light is going to look. And sometimes it can end up being really blown out. So I like to have the option to hold my camera in one hand and the flash with the other and kind of move it around to say, okay, where do I want it to be? So obviously, there we go. Like this is looking already so much better with the external flash. Here I was like, it's maybe looking a little bit too dramatic. And I tried, I was like, see, this is their lighting in there. Isn't that a nightmare? I know I see Jim going, no way. It's like, no way. So then I was like, okay, let me try a white background. Let me work with it a little bit. And then there's where we ended up. And that was not too bad. Considering what we had to work with, that was fine. And it was so drab outside where it's like, then I couldn't take it outside. Oh, you can see here where it's like, I went from the light being right above and kind of like cascading over and very diffused. I was like, what if we do a little bit more drama and put the flash on the table and have it from low and below? And I was like, nope, that does not fit the vibe. Does not fit the vibe. This fits the vibe. This does not fit the vibe. So in those instances with the flash, it's like I've got some more options rather than just saying, okay, that's it. And it's like, no, okay, this is cuter. This is better. It's getting there. I think I did the same thing with the pizza jeans pictures. Aha, okay. So we got those macaroons back. This is what I was talking about where we went back the next time to do it. Oh my goodness gracious. So much better. Like not only their little display that they had was a lot more fun, but the fact that we were able to get outside in diffused lighting was really great. So while it would not have looked very good for maybe like some of the gelato because it would have looked like you're eating gelato on a cloudy day, which is not at all what social media wants posting on their Instagram. This worked much better for the next place that we shot, where they have these macaroons, and we could get this beautiful cloudy lighting on the macaroons instead, and putting it on this bench as a background to kind of make it feel more French. So just knowing the differences of like, okay, when is it going to be the time to use diffused lighting in that scenario versus when is it going to be the time to use maybe like this kind of brighter overall flash lighting can be a big thing. I think we were relatively obsessed with the light outside that day for those shots. Oh, this was another place where it was not great. Again, no window light inside, but I can fix it. I can make it work. It's like okay, is anyone a fan of 30 Rock from back in the day? And it's where
Yes.
Liz is getting onto the plane to follow like the guy that she likes, but she has that sandwich that she also really loves in her pocket. And they're like, ma'am, you're going to have to finish your sandwich before you go through security. And she's like stuffing the sandwich in her face. And she's like, I can have it all. And I'm like, I feel a lot of that when I'm doing photography. It's just that frantic energy of like, no, I promise I can make this work and I can have it. So I think what I ended up doing was knowing that it was just a little bit too light, or it was too yellow. But I kind of ran with that and went, well, you know what? They've got kind of this like funky vibe to it. So I threw some presets on there to make it a little bit more like film. So it was like, okay, let's make this look more like 60s, 70s film, because that's kind of their theme, is like a 70s baseball park. So kind of going with it and saying, okay, the light is fine, but I might be able to do a little bit more later on to it. And obviously this was such an incredibly shallow depth of field that was ridiculous. But yeah, I was like, okay, I think we can make this work. And I think we kind of did, despite the terrible lighting that was in there. This is probably like my favorite scenario to photograph in, because alcohol, no, I'm just kidding. But these covered patios, if you ever get a chance to use like a covered patio, do it. Do it. It's diffusing the light so that it's not coming from the top, but it's coming from the sides. And then all around equally on all sides. It's basically, you've created your own little studio softbox that you can live in. So whenever they're like, oh, we've got a patio, I'm like, let's go right now, immediately. The pictures will always look good on a patio, every single time. Let me check. Oh, we're almost running out. Okay, any questions, requests? I think the last one I wanted to show in terms of lighting, let's take a look at one of my good friends, Luke, here. Yeah. So this was really fun because we were able to like switch it up in this studio space. So if you're looking to kind of experiment with studio lighting and natural lighting in the same instance, I recommend going to, let's see, Peerspace. It's one of my favorites. Oh, come on, I can't see anything. Here we go. Peerspace. They have a bunch of places that you can rent out, studios that you can rent out. So if I put in here, let's see, enter your activity. I'm going to put photo shoot in Atlanta. And let's say I want to do it next Wednesday from like 12 to 3. I'm just looking to hang out for a little bit. Here's all of these cool places that you can rent out by the hour. And you can see this one is right around the corner from us. This is literally in like the same complex. They're fantastic. And I love it because you get to have options with studio and natural light. So if you want a day where you just take a couple hours, most of these places come with studio lights, or you can rent studio lights there. And
Wow.
just being able to work with them. Yeah, Jim, go for it.
No, I was gonna say that's great. I thought I saw something called the Disco Church was one of the. I was curious. I don't know what that is, but
I
it
don't
looked
know, and
awesome.
I want
There's
to
the Disco Church photo
go.
studio. Oh, look at that.
You guys, we have to go.
Oh my
This is
goodness.
amazing.
Look
That
at
is
that.
so cool. I love
That's
that. They
incredible.
literally just strung up like a bunch of
Yeah.
disco balls. I love that. Okay. Yeah, and like that's it. They'll have like really unique stuff. Here's the one that I shot that I did this shoot in that I'm about to show you. Like I said, I really enjoyed like all the different cool. Oh, and they repainted that. Ooh. So I really enjoyed all the different sets that they provided. So it's kind of like you can work your way around the different areas.
I do like Vera Lofts. I did a couple of shoots there, and I had a birthday shoot there a few years ago. It was really, really nice.
It's so good. The set is immaculate. It is one of my
Mhm.
favorites in Atlanta, hands down. So we did these there, and you can see like started with some lighting, and then it was kind of going a little haywire, and I was like, oh, too low, and I was like, a little bit too much to the side, a little bit too much to the side, a little bit too much to the side, not quite bright enough, and I was like, okay, here we go. Now this is looking better. Now we can get some good shots of Luke looking very professional on a simple background. I was like, okay, let's go to the natural lighting. And look, I love a good loft lighting. I love good loft lighting. Just big, big, big windows. The other thing to kind of pay attention to sometimes when you rent these spaces is know which way the window is facing. So if you're looking for a specific type of light, like if you want that sunset golden light, make sure the windows are facing west, and you'll be able to get that light. And then we were in here, and I was doing these poses with them, and I was like, nope, Luke, that's not working. That's not you. This is you. That's my boy. That's my dude. That's much better. So yeah, different spots to test out different stuff. And it doesn't even have to be like a professional studio. If it's your own home that you just want to hang out in and say like, this could actually work if I just move. If you take like one tiny thing, don't think of it has to be like a person or whatever. If you want to try a lighting exercise, it can just be like one thing and just move it around your house. We do this exercise in photo 3, and you just move it around your house in different lighting scenarios, from like different rooms to window light, to artificial light, to window and artificial light, to single bulb versus multiple bulbs, to like if you prop the door open and in your house and put it there where it's more of like a dramatic pointed kind of light. Just see what vibes best with you. And then not only that, but moving around the subject as well. So from going from like saying, okay, here's where I happen to be standing and here's where my subject is in the light. But what if I go and the light is facing me and the light's coming from behind the subject, kind of like I did with the drink on the patio. I want to make sure the light was coming through behind the glass, so it illuminated more. So moving around your subject too, and start to take little notes and go like, okay, I think this actually is really vibing with me, and I like this. And say, okay, I really liked open door, diffused light, and the light's coming from the side of the subject. And you start to kind of make these little mental notes or even physical notes on like a little notepad. And so then the next time you run into those things and go, oh, that worked really well that time, that could probably work really well this time. Little stuff like that. Yeah. Cool. Anything else, you guys? I know we're running a little bit over, but I'm having fun. Pretty good.
It's all just, I don't know, all overwhelming. So like, I think a lot of it's trial and error, maybe some quick tips, like in this setting, start with this. Like, so sometimes when I have an idea, I Google best camera settings or best light settings for this situation and start from there. And it still always looks like crap, but I guess looking for those kind of like base places to start from is helpful. Or did I use equipment? Did I not use equipment, etc.? Because right now I'm trying to get my speed light to sync with the trigger, and so far they're not liking each other.
Hey, Nicole, can I suggest something for you though?
Sure.
Relax. Because one of the biggest problems I have is I want things to go right the first or second shot. And if it doesn't, I get really frustrated. And I find that if I don't worry about what shots, because I'm one of these people who has a shot list in their head, and I feel like I have to do everything on that list. I've come to find that the best thing to do is you have the list that's there, but just try to get the best shot and just relax. Take the time to analyze what you're doing, because you have all that information in your head. It's just recalling it.
Yes, and I appreciate the kind words, and you are not wrong. I also grew up in times and industries where if you made a mistake, you lost your job. Broadcast TV, film, financial institutions, high school, whatever.
Yeah, I think
yes,
it's like
thank you. You are not wrong, and we should do that more.
I was going to say the exact same thing as Dexter, 110%. And I think when you're thinking of it being overwhelming, which it can really feel like sometimes, I like to break it down and focus on one thing at a time. So if I'm just worrying about window lighting, I'm just going to do window lighting and saying like, I'm going to get really good and know everything about window lighting, or I'm going to get really good and know everything about when the sun is at the top, but also removing things from that list, right? Saying there's nothing in my purview that I'm ever going to need to know how to use a flash for, or there's nothing in my purview that I'm ever going to need to know when it comes to shooting in a restaurant, or like any of those things that you can immediately just start checking them off the list and saying like, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. And then the ones that you do, getting really like into those and experimenting with them in all different kinds of spaces and different times of day and different scenarios, then you get really honed in. And that's the majority of things with photography, right? Is because when we first get into this, you think, oh my God, I'm gonna have to know the shutter speed for everything. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to know the aperture for everything. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to know the ISO for everything. And it's like, no. You just got to get really good at the niche thing that you like to take pictures of the most. That's it. Like a macro photographer is not going to walk into a place where they're photographing cars and going, yeah, I totally know exactly what to do here. No. It's going to take them a second. It's going to take them a second from going from like a button or like photographing like a bug on a plant to photographing a car. That's a huge difference. And so it takes some mental adjustments because they're really, really good at photographing a bug on a flower. Same vice versa. If the car guy was like, here's a bug on a flower, it'd be like, I'm going to need a minute. So same way that we kind of find those things that we're niche at and good at in the rest of our lives, photography feels so vast sometimes that it just like to pocket it in one specific area for a while makes it feel less overwhelming, because otherwise it could be everything in an infinite universe of stuff, which would be crazy.
Well, then that cycles back to supporting Jim's suggestion. I saw he popped off. I've done a couple of classes with him too, where he suggested, is there a workshop? Because you have lots of great themed workshops, but is there a workshop for finding your niche? So kind of, I guess, a dabble workshop where you can you can't try everything, but try a few things or see what works. And then from there, start to whittle down your list.
That could be interesting. Ooh, I'm going to have to think of how to structure that. That could be fun. I like that.
One thing with photography is you're experimenting. And if it doesn't work, just don't show it.
As all of us good professionals do, you'll never see my raw images, except you guys. My clients will never see them. Well, cool. I appreciate y'all being here so much. This is so awesome. I miss doing things like this. We've got a bunch of really cool stuff coming up. If you want to do more of like the business side of it, we've got a business of photography one coming up this Wednesday. That's off schedule just based on the holidays. We had to reschedule again, but we have those every last Tuesday of the month. And we talk about like client strategies and building your business and websites and social media marketing and all that good stuff. Let me go ahead, let me find links for that. Yeah, that's our other club. And then, of course, we have like 1.5 billion awesome workshops posted. I just posted a bunch of ones today of like adventures to do with Larry. He's going to New Mexico this year. He's going to the Smokies this year, and he's going to St. Augustine this year. So those are the 3 that I just posted to the site too. I'm going to Italy in the fall. Come with me. It's gonna be amazing. If you want to know more about that one, because obviously it's a big deal, message me directly or send me an email directly, and I will hop on a phone call with you to go over that. I'm more than happy to schedule that and do that. Then we got a bunch of other stuff. We got lighting workshops, the video ones this weekend, bunch of cool stuff. Yeah, just check it out. We're around. And classes start this week, so if you want to join in, we still got a couple days left to join in. Photoshops tomorrow, Lightrooms tomorrow, Photo 2, but Photo 3 and video are coming in February. I know some folks were waiting on those. So Photo 3 and video are going to make their return in February because we got Jay back. Yay, Jay. I missed him so much. All right, y'all. Well, I'll keep you posted on everything. I'll send this out and talk to y'all really soon. Everyone have a great night. Stay warm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye.
good night,
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you, Sarah.
Good to see you.